For you, the day you clicked on this video was the most important day of your life. But for me, it was Tuesday. Hey there, I'm Caden Rains, and welcome to my basement. Today we are adding another villain to the shelf with M.Bison from the Street Fighter line by Jada. This is not a too hard to find figure. I still see these in stores. Their price has gone up, unfortunately. So if you're trying to collect this whole line, that's something to keep in consideration. But I only have a couple of them because while I like Street Fighter, I'm not super invested in it. And as my opening quote might tell you, the movie has stuck with me more than some of the other lore. So what little Street Fighter stuff I've got going is not going to be much, and if I get it wrong, I apologize when I reference lore. But we're going to start with M.Bison, the big bad of the series, or at least the reoccurring one, as far as I know, and go from there. So let's take a look at him outside the packaging and see how he looks. So here is M.Bison, head of Shadaloo, out of his packaging. I have gone ahead and swapped out his face and hands because I feel like this set that he comes with, these alternate face and hands, are a better look for him. But we'll compare them in just a moment. But I do feel like even before the price went up, this was a pretty good, well, I would say before the price went up, this was a good price for the quality you're getting with these figures from this line. Now, we haven't looked at the other few I have, which are not many. Like I said, I don't plan to collect this line, but I think it's good looking from what I've seen. So if you're a fan of Street Fighter, then I think this is a good series from what they've put out so far. I know Storm Collectibles is also doing Street Fighter figures, so if you prefer them, well, okay. I don't have any of them. I keep an eye out, but they haven't done any characters that I can't get, while I'm out most of the time. And because I'm not that huge of a Street Fighter fan, it's just making do with what I've got available for the most part. So anyway, getting back to what's in front of us, we've got M.Bison here. This is his, I guess this would be his angry face, and I think it does a good job of expressing the anger emotion. This is his default face here, and it's just sort of, I guess it could be kind of considered a sneer, but I don't know. It's too neutral. He's not a neutral character. He's the opposite of neutral. He's very passionate about what he wants in this world. These are also his, posing hands, strangling hands, whatever you want them to be, as compared to the fists that he comes with by default. Like I said, I think unless you're going to pose him actually punching somebody, these open hands are more versatile. And his other accessory, or depending on how you define it, his only accessory is this Psycho Power blast, and while it does fit over the fist more easily, it still fits over the open hands, so maybe not as well, but if you wanted to pose him with that, you don't have to change it back to the fist to make that work. So that's neat. It's always neat when the accessories are pretty open in their usability. Like on some of the Skeletors, the accessories don't work if you're not using the right hands. Like one of the CGI Skeletors, you really had to use a specific hand in order to use his accessories. Now, moving on from hands and faces and accessories, look at that cape. That's a nice cape. It's wired. It's got a wire cape. That thing I was just complaining about with Darth Vader. And so you can, I don't think it's like the most posable wire cape, but it gives you some versatility. Now, it's attached at the shoulders, as it would be, but the pauldrons are connected by this extra bit. between his shoulder connections, which does allow for more posability, but it does mean if you pull it, as you can see, it goes back like that. So it's a little bit of a trade-off, but I still think it's a good one. I think this looks a lot better than just a plain piece of cloth or just a piece of plastic for a cape. So that's good. But if you don't like it, you can remove it by just popping those off. And then there's these blank ones, or whatever you want to call them, where they don't have the cape feature built in. And they just snap on like that, and you can replace it to have no cape. I like the cape. I think the cape looks good with its wire frame and all that, so I will be keeping the cape on. And there we go. Like I said, it just snaps on. As for the paint job, mine has this little paint mistake here. There's a couple little ones like that. Nothing too noticeable. Unless you are actively doing stuff with them, I don't see anything. Like, the only reason this one stands out is because I posed them for the opening. And yeah, I think it's a good figure. Like, if you're into Street Fighter, whether you want him winning or losing a fight in your display, I think this is a good one. Like I said before, I'm not a huge Street Fighter guy. Outside of the 90s OVA and the movie, I have played some of the games, but from what I know, this looks good. I like him. And I think he's worth it, honestly. Now, are there probably better versions? I know there are. I've seen them. I don't know if it's necessary. It depends on how big a fan you are and how big a fan of M.Bison in particular, I guess. For this, for me, the fact that I got him before the prices went up to like $30 makes him a good purchase for me. I wish he and the rest of the line hadn't gone up. While I've already gotten most of the ones I care about from this first wave, or, well, not wave, but from the first roster they're doing with Jada, it would have been nice if there was some more availability for those of us who don't have unlimited funds to throw at action figures. I know I've been showing off my collection, but my collection's based on years of hoarding and scrimping, so even if I was a bigger Street Fighter fan, I wouldn't be able to just grab all the other figures that have been popped up in this line. I've got 3 others, and that's about where I'm going to stop until some very specific figures come out, and they're not from the first roster, so we'll see if that happens. But anyway, now that M.Bison has shown how impressive he truly is, let's take him to the shelf and see how he looks with the other villains. And here we are with our little lineup. Here's M.Bison hanging out with fellow antagonists and villains alike. It's a interesting crew, but at least some of them would work together. Vader's probably the oddest man out, oddly, followed by Frieza, but the other three I could see in crossovers, especially since 2 of them have crossed over before. Bison and Shredder, although they didn't team up. Bison actually enslaved Shredder to try and steal a bunch of psycho power, but that's a story for another day. Anyway, here is this corner of the shelf. There are 2 more things I'm going to add to it. Well, more than 2, but 2 videos worth. And then this corner will be done until I reorganize it, which I finally got some more stands. I haven't put them up yet, but to get this section a little more clear, and then for what's to come over here. But once we get those done, we'll finally be moving on from the villains, at least for a little while. There's more villains to come. But, yeah. So, do you have the Jada figure of M.Bison? Do you like him, not like him? Do you think my weird little group of villains over here next to my other super fixations is a interesting group? Or do you think that I should separate them because it's just a travesty putting them next to each other? Let me know down below. But regardless, I hope you had a good time in my basement, and I'll see you in the next one.